please do let me know as well. So I'm here to answer questions this morning about virtual speaking. So as we know, in terms of speaking opportunities, and when we think about speaking, it's not just about public speaking, it's about training, it's about interviews, it's about anything that involves verbal communication, it's about video, it's about anything that enables you to increase your impact, authority and reach, so that you can generate leads, so that you can get recognized as an expert in what you do, so that you can become an authority, and so that you can sign clients and also make the global impact that you want to make and do the good you want to do. Of course, that's the reason why you do what you do. But given the world we're in at the moment, there are less opportunities to do that face-to-face. Hey, Casey, how you doing? Lovely to see you. Hey, Casey, lovely to see you. There's less opportunities to do that. So just for a few examples, if you do any type of training delivery in corporates, then that's been cancelled. For me, all of my corporate work has been cancelled. I had a lot booked in. It's gone. It's not been postponed. It's been pulled, right? That's the reality of the situation. Lovely to see you, Katie. You are an amazing woman too. Love you very much. Let's have a think about public speaking. So any type of face-to-face event, any type of thing that involves people getting in a room, gone. It's not happening, right? It's not happening. And those are very good opportunities to be able to meet new potential clients, to be able to impact the hearts and minds of people, to generate leads, to increase your following. Hey, Francesca, lovely to see you. These opportunities have all been put on hold or cancelled. It's real for me, yeah? A lot of my business, I've got different strands to my business. A big chunk of that is face-to-face delivery. It's gone. But there are huge opportunities bursting out in the virtual space. And the reason why I'm doing this Q&A this morning is because I want to talk to you about the difference between public speaking and delivery. So whatever type of delivery we're talking about here, publicly, as in a room full of people, what the difference is between that and the virtual space. Now, why am I qualified to talk to you about this? Because if you don't know, I spent 15 years training and coaching people in the corporate world. I did live team building events that were days long for hundreds of people. I used to run live conferences in the corporate world. I used to train people in the classroom every single day. I used to coach people in small groups. I used to deliver webinars. I used to deliver virtual action learning sets. I've done all of it. And then when I left that job, I started up my own business. And I've niched down into helping entrepreneurs do similar things, to do public speaking, to get the skills proficient in verbal communication, training delivery, virtual training delivery, webinar delivery, virtual classroom training. I do a lot of that in my work now. I get booked by corporate organizations to deliver webinar series for people all over the globe. So I've been doing this pretty much all my career. And so I know the difference between face-to-face delivery and virtual delivery. And in the past 5 years, I've really honed that virtual delivery, because when I first started this business, it was 100% online. I didn't have any other option because I had a very small baby. And so I had to do everything from the comfort of my own home. And so I built a business where it was all online. I learned how to deliver webinars as part of launches. I learned how to really nail live streaming. I learned how to increase my authority by appearing on podcasts. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about the difference between virtual and public speaking. I want to talk to you about what types of modes of delivery there are. I want to talk to you about the structures of it, how to land them. But if you've got any questions that you have, because this is kind of a live Q&A, please do post below in the comments so that I can answer your questions, because ultimately that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to say realistically, what the situation is. What I do know is that I am being booked for virtual speaking opportunities, virtual guest expert sessions, virtual training delivery, and it's exploding. There's so much more opportunity. If you think about the curve that we are on in terms of the virtual delivery, given the situation that's happening in the world, there's lots of opportunity for you to get yourself out there, get visible, keep going, speak up, share your message, share your story, help people. Ultimately, help people. Keep going with your purpose and your mission and what you're here to do, and help people. Help people that need your help. Of course, what you're saying has to be aligned. It has to, first of all, it has to be aligned with the message that you have and how you can help people and how that's aligned with what they need right now. Because we must be mindful that if you've got a program that you've been selling for a year and all of a sudden that's incongruent with what your audience needs right now, then there needs to be some tweaks there. There needs to be some tweaks in identifying what your ideal client's problems are, then identifying what the solution is, and then getting the message nailed. Because of course, verbal delivery is all about the message, particularly when you are speaking, if you're delivering virtual speaking. This is a great topic. I feel lucky that my in-person speaking gigs are now being held online, and I've been invited to speak to an online community, which is way bigger than the in-person events that were planned. So, exactly, Katie, a fantastic example of being able to increase your reach through virtual speaking opportunities. So what are they? First of all, I do have to say that before we do this, we do need to think about where your audience is right now. Okay, so where are your audience right now? What do they need? And how can your message be adapted to fit with that? That will then inform how you then go out and seek these opportunities. Okay, once you've done that, then you need to identify what the opportunities actually are, okay? So I'm just going to run through, I've got 6 key ones. I've got 6 key virtual modes of delivery, and we're going to go through them right now. First, podcast interviews, right? This is a huge opportunity for you to put a stake in the ground in terms of your authority. Create a hot right now message that podcast hosts really want to hear. They need to talk to people that can help their audiences right now with topics that need to be discussed right now. What is that for you? There are so many podcasts out there. People posted opportunities for podcasts in here last week. People are always looking to interview people on podcasts, and it's a fantastic way of increasing your impact, your authority, and your reach, because you're going out to those podcast listeners. You're going out to that person's social media following, and new people are coming into your audience. So that's one mode of delivery, podcasts. The second mode of delivery is live streams, okay? Now, live streams became a bit of a naff thing for a little while. When live streaming first came out, everybody was on it and people were tuning in. Now it's different, okay? Live streaming is different, but what you can do is really harness live streams right now to reach your audience, to say the right things, to connect with them at a heart, like a real heart level, and really make the most of those opportunities. I really need to only speak twice at school and only did 1 live workshop so far, but that's still great, Francesca. Hopefully that's how I pronounce your name. What you can do now is really think about all the new opportunities there are for you to get your message out there. It's okay that you're new, you've already done it. And I'm sure it's not just these events that you're communicating. I'm sure you're communicating in many other ways already. It's just about harnessing. It's just about really focusing in on it and harnessing it. So live streaming, really so much opportunity to get back into live streaming. But of course, live streaming has to have a purpose. It has to have a message. It has to be really clear, because otherwise you lose people. People do watch replays, but live streaming is a very different beast now. So the purpose of this live stream is to talk to you about this particular subject. And people do watch the replays, because I have lots of messages from people saying, I watched the replay. So it's just about really harnessing the power of live streams. It's also about harnessing the power of guest expert sessions. I can't emphasize enough how important doing guest expert sessions are. If you don't know what these are, These are going into somebody else's community, somebody else's membership community, or group program, or VIP mastermind, or whatever it might be, and delivering on your subject of expertise, because the person running that program doesn't have that area of expertise. Last week, I ran a fantastic guest expert session for a lovely lady called Nikki, and she runs a brand program. It's all about branding yourself. And I went in and I spoke about storytelling in relation to your brand. And I was able to put an offer out, and I signed clients straight away off the back of that. People are buying, okay? People are buying stuff now. So it's really possible through guest expert sessions, like 100%. The other modes are webinars. Now, I've delivered many webinars. I delivered webinars when I was in my corporate job. Webinars were kind of just taking off then. I've delivered webinars as part of launches, so as a focal point for a launch, where I'm demonstrating and adding value, and then I'm actually selling something off the back of it. I've also delivered webinars for corporates now, delivering mini training series. They're like hour sessions through tools like WebEx and Zoom, and they deliver value to the client. But having a webinar as part of a sales process for you as a virtual speaker is so important. Really, really, really important. The other mode of delivery is a virtual keynote. Okay, so a virtual keynote is like a normal talk, but you're bringing it online and you're delivering it through probably something like Zoom. For example, I'm doing a virtual talk this Thursday for Inspiring Talks Brighton. I'm talking about incubation from isolation and how you can use isolation to spark your ideas, share your story, and create a legacy for the after. So I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be delivering that to an audience of people that have bought tickets, who are going to be tuning in from the comfort of their own home, and I'm going to be in the comfort of my own home delivering it. So yes, the skills are slightly different, but the concept, the message is the same. Okay. What else have we got? We've got virtual training sessions, okay? So this is different from webinars. Virtual training sessions are interactive learning sessions. They could be anything from like 1 hour to 2 hours, like half-day workshops. They're usually delivered via something like Zoom, because there's a lot more interaction in a virtual training session. It's different to a webinar, which is shorter. A virtual training session is longer. There's breakouts, there's time for people to reflect and do exercises. So it's kind of like classroom delivery, but it's in the virtual space. Now, I've recently put virtual speaking boot camps together. So I've actually taken people through a process to put together a talk, and it was a virtual training session. We were actually, it was like 6 hours for one of them and 4 hours for another. And in that time, I helped them craft and put together a talk. They went away, they had to deliver the talk back to me via video. I gave them feedback on that. Virtual training, it's 100% possible. I've run group programs in that format. I've run full day events in that format. I've run a couple of hour training sessions, half day workshops, full day workshops. It's possible. Oh, you're going to be there, Katie. Yay, that's awesome. That's so cool. So those are the 6 modes of delivery that I feel are the key modes of virtual delivery. If you've got any questions about any specific one of those, please do let me know, because I'm happy to answer any questions. I had a few questions last week about what the main differences are. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of give a high level of what I feel the differences are. Essentially, the skills that you have to deliver a message over a live stream, over a face-to-face talk, or over, like a virtual training session, ultimately come down to having clarity on what you want to say and how you want to say it, how you're actually going to deliver those things so they are succinct, so they are compelling, so that they really pack a punch, and so that you embed learning, either learning if it's training, or inspiration if it's a talk. So you want to inspire people through a talk, you want to engage people through a talk, and you want to help people learn if it's through training, right? Now, I always bang on about it, but storytelling is the 100% thread that runs through all of this. If you're on a podcast interview, you can get really nailed on what stories you're going to tell to make sure they're short and punchy and you don't go on and on and on and on and on. If you are doing a live stream, what are the stories that you can use to really connect with people so they stop scrolling and start listening to you? If you're delivering a virtual talk, what are the key core stories you're going to use to deliver the message? So storytelling is the same whether you're doing a face-to-face delivery or whether you're doing online delivery. Where it does start to get a bit different is how you actually deliver. So let's look at a virtual keynote, for example. Now with virtual keynotes, say if I was doing a 15-minute TED talk, right? I am not going to be getting audience participation. I might be pausing for reaction, but with a 15-minute TED talk, you may ask a question for someone to raise their hand. But with a virtual keynote, there is a little bit more interaction involved, purely because you really want to engage people. So it's just about finding ways of getting that interaction so the audience are with you whilst you're delivering, because obviously when you're in a room with someone, it is a lot different in terms of the energy of the room. You can feel the energy in the room, and you can feel the energy of the people, and you're more likely to be engaged, whereas there's a lot more opportunity for distraction when you're actually virtually speaking. So it's about getting those hooks into the talk so that people can remain engaged. So asking questions and things like that. Also how you're actually delivering. So when you're standing up and you're delivering a keynote talk, you are using space. You're taking up space. You are blocking, which is, putting parts of your talk to certain places where you are on the stage. You're not doing that with a virtual keynote. So some people have asked, do you stand up? Do you sit down? Now, sometimes on live streams, I do actually stand up, but with a virtual keynote, I don't. The reason why that is because sometimes when we're virtually speaking, we can be even more unconscious about how our body language is coming across. And with a virtual keynote, we want it all to be about what you're saying and how you're coming across like this. Okay, so it's how you're moving your hands, how you're moving your body, how you're interacting with the audience. So there are some key differences there, but ultimately what you're saying, the stories that you're telling are going to be the same. How you're delivering that message is going to be the same. Of course, there's less chance for the audience to bounce off you. When you're in a live setting, you're doing live training, you're interacting with the audience. Of course, that is different. You're generally going to be getting people in particularly keynotes and webinars to type stuff, okay? In a training session, there is space for talking and two-way conversation. So it's just about thinking of the subtle changes in communication and how you actually converse with people that is different. Another question I had was the techie stuff, okay? So with live streaming on Facebook, it's just as simple as this. With virtual delivery, I highly recommend just using Zoom. If you are able to, just use Zoom because it's so versatile. You can have webinar formats. You can control how people see information. You can use slides and share your screen. You can use a whiteboard and draw pictures if you really want to. Or you can just be you. You can have people in gallery view. You can have people across the top. You can get people to put up their hand. You can get people to type in the chat box. And that's just so versatile. And it's hands down my favorite mode of virtual delivery, like for absolutely everything that I do. However, if you're speaking in an organization, for example, they have their own technology. So a lot of people use WebEx. Now, I don't particularly like WebEx, but I've learned to live with it. And there's different types of delivery that's more appropriate for WebEx. I won't go into all the details, but there's less chance for like verbal interaction on something like that. So that would be how you would adapt your session to actually fit that. But if you are in control, just use Zoom. I'll just keep it that simple. For webinars, virtual training sessions, virtual keynotes, podcast interviews, absolutely everything I've spoken about, definitely use Zoom. I know lots of people are using Zoom right now. I've been using it for 5 years. It's just hands down the best tool that I have in my business. And I just wouldn't want to use anything else. Somebody also asked a question about landing gigs. So Think about all of these opportunities. First of all, think about the top podcast that you want to get on. What's your hot right now message? What does that podcast host want to hear right now? Think about that. Approach them. Reach out to them. Apply. Virtual keynotes. You see there's lots of virtual events going on. Just look on Eventbrite. There's loads and loads and loads of virtual events going on. Do your research. Look in your vertical of your industry niche. What are people running? Like, what is happening out there at the moment? Look. Now, I know a lot of people, they get stuck on this part. And I'll say that yes, virtual opportunities do come to you, but don't wait for them. Go out and get them. There's so many available to you. It's unreal. Who do you know that runs a group program or something where you can go and deliver a guest expert session? There are so many opportunities. Hey, Sam, hope you're cool. These things don't fall in your lap. Yes, they do when you've been maybe doing it a while, but you've got to go out and get them. Don't wait for them to come to you. It's possible. All you've got to do is take action. Don't be scared. Just do it. I am very guilty. Yeah, and Katie, the thing is, you are, you're established in your business and you do get those opportunities coming to you. But there's even more opportunities out there if we just take a little bit of time to put a little bit of focus in place to set our sights on things. You've got to be in it to win it, right? I still hold that motto true. They're out there, okay? It's just about taking a little bit of time to get laser focused in and then just reach out. I think a lot of us are scared. We're scared maybe that we don't hear back, or if they say no. Well, if they say no, move on. There are so more available, absolutely 100%. So I think I've answered all the questions that were put to me. If anybody has any questions now, please do let me know. I've got to go just before 10:30 because I've got a call, but I'm happy to answer them. This is my thing. This is what I've been doing for years and years and years and years. I know the differences between these different modes of delivery. I also know how much opportunity there is out there. Think about virtual conferences, virtual telesummits. There's so much opportunity for you to get known, for you to leverage other people's audiences. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with leveraging other people's audiences. It's perfectly okay because the audience you're leveraging, that person's audience, they won't have that skill that you have. They've got their thing, they're serving their audience. You can provide something else. You can provide a different angle. What is that? What is it that people need right now? What do they need to hear? What do they need to learn? What problem can you solve for them? And how can you share that with the world? How can you get that out there? So I'm really passionate about helping people right now find ideas in their isolation, get creative with their thinking and create their ideas worth spreading. Find their legacy story, tell stories from this time. So in the after, they can look back and say, I did that. I thought that. I made that move. I did that different thing. That's what I'm passionate about at the moment. So that's why I'm speaking about that. And that's why it's relevant for people to hear that right now. I often feel so in my business that I can't identify hot right now topics that I'm an expert in. I totally get that. I guess an invitation there is to think, what do people not know that I know that could help them right now? What do people not know that I know that could help them right now? I'll give you an example for what I'm talking about right here, right now. I was just having a conversation with my business mentor. And, we were just talking around this subject. And she said, gosh, you know so much about this, Helen. Help people with it. And that's the thing. You don't realise how much you know that can really help other people right now. I mean, Katie, so much about what you do. And you're already doing it. Is really helping people right now. But it's about really drilling in, revisit your ideal client map. Have you ever done the ideal client map where you're really drilling down into the problems? What are their challenges? What are they facing? What are they hearing, feeling, thinking, seeing, doing differently as a result of the current situation? What could the outcomes be for them and how do you get them there? What tips do you have for someone who is really new to this? With new, I mean, even creating a speech is new, storytelling is new, everything is new. When I spoke at the schools twice, it was about being an author on my first live workshop. So I guess, Francesca, hone in on what your expertise is, how you help people, what your message is around that, what the story is. What's the story of your business? How did you get here? Why is that important to you? And why are you so passionate about helping other people? If you're really new to this, if you're really new to all of this, I would start there. So tips to helping people is what I know a lot. What's your area of expertise? What's your business? Do you have a business? Are you just launching a business? If you haven't even launched a business yet, start at the very beginning in terms of what are your core values, what are your strengths, what's your whole, your journey, your core story, what got you here. Start there. Then you'll get really clear on how you can start sharing messages with people through the things I'm talking to you about. And if you need any help with that, just shoot me a message, because I've got lots of experience in helping people with that. But start there. The core story is the place to really start. Start with your core story. What got you here? Not your life story, your core story. What got you here? And why are you doing what you're doing now? Where are your strengths? Where are your areas of expertise? Then all of the communication can fall into place after that. You need to get very clear on what you are here to help people with first, because otherwise you'd be very confused about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, all those types of things. The story is the place to start, though. I hope that helps. Any other questions before I go? If you've just joined, please watch back. I've shared a shed load of stuff. Hopefully it can inspire you. I want to challenge you today to sit down and map out all of the opportunities that you have right now to get your hot right now message out there, to start sharing it with the world and start leveraging other people's audiences, start connecting with your own audience, and really, really make your mark. Help people. Help people right now. Don't feel bad about helping people. People need your help. What is it that you can help them with? What's the difference between a life story and a core story? So a life story is a chronological story. I was born here, and then this happened, and then I went to this school, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. A core story is everything that's relevant to include, that is where you stand today and how you want to help people. Whether you might be a health coach. What was your health journey? What were you inspired by? What personally happened to you? If you are a speaker coach, what was your background experience? I actually kind of gave a little bit of my story at the beginning of this talk. I had 15 years of standing up in front of people, training and coaching them. That's not my whole core story, but it has to be relevant. So what life and business experiences are relevant that enable you to stand where you are today? Your calling, yes. That's no problem, Katie. No worries, Sam. Watch it back. I've included loads and loads and loads of stuff. My challenge to you today, Francesca, sit down and map out your core story. Everybody else, literally take some time and think, what are the opportunities available to me? What do I know that people don't know that can help them right now? If you want any help with this, give me a shout. If you want specific help with this, I've got something coming, okay? Got something coming in the next few weeks. But I'm going to be delivering lots of free content around this. I want to help as many people as possible increase their impact, authority, and reach during this time. Generate leads, sign clients. Absolutely, you deserve that. Okay, you deserve to keep your business running if you're helping people in a congruent way. In a congruent way that is aligned with your values and that is doing good in the world. All right? Amen. I've got to go. I've got a phone call now. Any questions, please just shoot me a message, post below. I'll be happy to answer them. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.